Welcome to this online summit series, Self-Mastery and Miracles. I'm Loren Gailey with my lovely co-host, Lori Rayon. She is an animal communicator, and we are so pleased to bring you this online event series. Today's episode is Addison Ames, who channels Metatron, Know Yourself in New and Higher Ways. This is being empowered in the truth of you. I want to welcome both of you here. Thank you for being here. Hi, Lori. Hi, Addison.
Hi,
Hey,
Loren.
Ren.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Addison.
Hey,
It's
good to
so
be
great to
here.
have you here. So great. We're
Thank you
really
very much.
privileged to have you be a part of this self-empowerment summit. And I know you're going to have a lot, as this is such an important time for people to come into their own beingness, their authentic self, and claim their self-empowerment. Yes? Yeah. So
I
great.
agree. Yeah, it's an honor to be here with you both individually and everyone watching. Thank you for allowing us to come into your hearts and homes.
Beautiful. So as we start, this word self-empowerment and making miracles, miracles really come from when we are empowered, where there's no limitations in belief systems or structures and trauma that we might have had. So I'll give you both a moment to really define what that means. Lori, why don't you start? Self-empowerment to you and making miracles. What does that mean in a nutshell?
Well, the foundation of self-empowerment to me is discovering what I call self-love, which is true freedom. Every single human has this immense, complex ability to have free will on this planet. And I work a lot off world. I work with my partner, Seth, and um, so many of the other planets and other dimensions that are, I'm going to say, benevolent, that are watching over so much want us to understand that. They want us to understand that our gifts of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all that can be further activated and useful as we claim our self love, our freedom, our independence, our authentic self, not thinking that you're not worthy or you're not good enough or that you're bound to governmental, societal rules that just don't work for you. I'm not telling you to be a rebel. I'm just telling you to claim that authentic part of you, that really foundational part that allows you to deeply love yourself and see that you're quite a unique masterpiece in yourself. And that as you choose to develop that and believe in yourself, multidimensionality becomes possible and all of these gifts kick in that make our life so beautiful. So self-empowerment, you go, girl. Everybody, let's do it. You know. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lori. And Addison, the same question to you.
Well, I think, like you said, in the theme of today's talk is really knowing the truth of you. So self-empowerment really has been covered up by people not really knowing. We don't
Yes.
really know ourselves. And so in the awakening process that really is happening around the world, and both of you are part of it in significant ways, it's teaching and allowing people to uncover the truth of them and understand the universe, the complexity and the depth of the universe, like Lori was just talking about. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of life out there. So as we understand the depth of us, the multidimensionality, the expanse of us, and the expanse of the all, we say, wow, there's a lot going on here. Because in the historical understanding of the human, it's less than, you can't, no, don't do it, you're not. And so part of the awakening is understanding I am, and I can, and I'm more. So, I'll talk in a few minutes about some key tools and tips that can help people really feel more empowerment. But I think more than anything, the miracle of life, which it really is a miracle, it's astonishing, is only now just being understood. And that's why, work like you both do and shows like you all have are becoming more and more popular because people are saying, I think there's more going on here. They're really awakening to this concept. So I think self-empowerment really hasn't been in the spotlight very much. But now more and more going back to the 60s and 70s when a lot of the awakening movement began, people are saying, wait, don't push me down, let me be me, and let me be in the fullness of me.
Well
Yes.
said. Yeah.
So well said. And as you're saying that, and we're talking about miracles, Lori, what you said, and Addison, what you said, it's this love that we have for ourselves, this self-love is what brings through the miracles. And I'm reminded of a Grateful Dead song. I'm married to someone who loves the Grateful Dead. And I hear the song, I need a miracle every day. And that is becoming, I need a miracle every moment. As we open into our self-love and our authenticity of who we are, the true truth of who we are, that's really when miracles happen. So thank you both. And Addison, wow, let's make way for you to offer a short presentation, and then you'll channel Metatron.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I will share my screen with you all and walk you through this. And this is meant to be, again, some practical understandings. And if you're watching at home, maybe take some screenshots of some of these slides if they really resonate with you. But it's my hope that this really enlivens and awakens you. I really love the self-empowered human, the human that loves itself. And so may this be of service to you. So self-empowerment is fueled by your know, K-N-O-W. And that's a term that I use and Metatron uses as well. Metatron is a being that I channel, but also one of my guides. So a lot of my own learning has been given to me by Metatron. And so he talks about our know, K-O-W, which is our multifaceted and very complex understanding, which is driven by more than just our mind or our brain, but it really comes together from all the different parts and pieces of us, consciousness, soul, and genetics, and even other things that we're only now just beginning to understand. So as we kind of bring all of these components online, we have a generalized know, heart included, which allows us to be able to understand ourselves and the world around us. And as I said earlier, as that complexity and intricacy and that appreciation grows, we become much more self-empowered, empowered by the truth of us. So a saying and a teaching that I really love is "you are." And this is a great slide to get a screen capture on. And I greet people sometimes with a simple phrase, "you are." Lori, you are. Which means I won't say you are this, you are that, you are the other, because I won't limit you. I won't tell you who you are. It's up to you to decide who and what you are and what you want to portray. So the simple greeting or the simple way to see other people, "you are," is really in the unlimitedness of them and acknowledging the width and breadth of them so that they can define themselves and be who they wish to be. You are. So understand that you will not be defined. We live kind of coming out of an era, but it still exists in an era where people define us. Again, they put you in boxes, they tell you who you are, they keep you in a file cabinet locked away in a certain definement that may not be what you want to be. It may not be the truth of you. It may not be all that you can be. So as we understand that, hey, we can define who we are, then we begin to say, well, I'm going to make decisions, I'm going to choose, I'm going to decide in new and high ways, in light ways, who I am and who I wish to be, how I want to grow and how I want to show, and I will not be defined by others. Others are always trying to do that, but many times they don't see us in the multifacetedness of us. So you will not be defined. I will not be defined. And decide for yourself. We come out of an age of telling. This is who you are. And I know when my mother was growing up, she was an academic. She read a lot. She was a writer, very advanced female for her age. And she wanted to go off to college. She had a brother who was very much the same way because he was a male. He got to go off to college, ended up being a college professor and writing books and being one of America's foremost writers and authorities on Emily Dickinson, became kind of a famous writer. My mother could have done the same thing, but because of certain stereotypical understandings in her era and in her family, they decided for her, you're not going to do that, you're going to do this. Her. They limited her. And we've kind of come through those eras. And so now we're in a place where we can decide for ourselves. We can say that I have, these are the skills that I have. I'm going to decide for myself and be empowered in that choice. So decide for yourself. And be who you want to be. We have choice. We all have innate qualities, skill sets, and talents, and we can take those and we can develop them. So even if you're born with what you may think or what one might think is a limited skill set, one can grow and do different things. You can expand your skill sets, you can build, you can learn, you can work with others, you can have a mentor, and you can allow yourself to be more than what you ever thought you could be. So we are, in a way, limited beings in the human form trying to grow and become unlimited in the soul and infinite structure of us. So may this be an empowering message. Be who you want to be. Don't be limited, but move towards unlimitedness. So as a quick recap on these ideas, allow yourself to be who you want to be. Do not be defined, but decide for yourself and allow yourself to go beyond and lift yourself in new and higher ways. And some additional thoughts about self-empowerment and the miracle of us all, the miracle of life, is that the human is complex. And this is driven by and understood by the awakening and spiritual community. The awakened and spiritual community is we're understanding that the human is a lot more than just a thing, than just a body or just a name. The human is complex. And the way I see it, there are 3 significant parts to the human, and these are really big parts. A lot of people think we're just a body, but we're a lot more than just a body. We are consciousness, we are soul, and we are genetics, who all come together and generate a life in a form. And most people think we're just, I'm Addison, I'm just a guy in a body and hanging out and doing stuff. But really, yeah, we have a body, a very beautiful and complex body, but we are consciousness, soul, and genetics combined in beautiful form. And so within that soul, genetics, and consciousness, there are lots of different elements of the complexity of the human. So looking at consciousness, we are the thinker that thinks. We're part of the thinker that thinks. We're inside of the thinker that thinks. And that is a way that I see the concept of God, divine, creator, this kind of thing. I see it as a big thinker, and it comes up with ideas, and we are thoughts and think of it. We're ideas ideating. And so this consciousness is not in separation from the big thinker that thinks, but we are it and it is us. We are the thinker that thinks. That is our consciousness. And then our soul has come from places, is here, and goes places. So the idea of other lives, we actually have many different lives in the way that I see it. Our soul has lives. So our soul has lived lives and lived and lived and lived many lives, and that has all created complexity in our form. Our soul has had destinations, which are like drop-in experiences, and our soul in the overall travel in the all has gathered energies, experiences, and other things. So our soul has soul lives, soul destinations, and soul experiences. Quite a complex, multifaceted experience. And then on the genetic side, we have ancestry, which is DNA, which adds complexity to us. We have genealogy, which is our family tree. And we have family history, which are all the personalities and the makeup of all of our genetic or bloodline history. So if you look at the slide, you may say, wow, that's a lot of stuff. It could be many thousands of lives in many thousands of places and spaces. It could be hundreds or hundreds of thousands of lives even sometimes. And we are part of, in fact, we indeed are consciousness, which is, in the way that I see it, the thinker that thinks. So with all this complexity and all in a beautiful form, one might say, oh my gosh, that's very empowering. I'm a lot more than just a thing. I am many things. I am all of these things all combined in a body or a person. So you are a multifaceted being. If you look at all those lives, all those energies, those places and spaces, the consciousness that is us, we are very multifaceted. We are multidimensional. We are here, there, and in between. We are not limited by our life here on earth and the life that we live here. And we are more. We are more than what we can think, and we are more than what we can know. We are more. And as we are in this age of awakening, in a way of understanding awakening, awakening is knowing. I know more, I understand more, I comprehend more, and that is our generalized know, which is our heart, mind, soul, our consciousness, our multidimensional selves, here, there, and in between. And the spiritual journey, or the process, is awakening to all of these things. You know more, you understand more, and you're able then to see yourself and the world around you differently. Knowing more of yourself and the complex of existence is really a goal, I think, of the spiritual journey. That's why many people understand other planets, other species, and understand ascension on a very broad base understanding, because we're understanding more of the complexity of all existence and the complexity of all. So may this be a blessing to all of you. May this be an empowerment to all of you. You are more. You will not be defined. You're complex, and you are a miracle in your complexity.
Wow, that is so beautiful and empowering in its own sense. And we look at the cleanup that needs to be done along ancestral lines, family genetics, those sorts of things. I'll be speaking more about that in my presentation and taking a humorous look at it, because when we're unconscious of the way we respond, if we're unconscious to the genetics, for example, or unconscious to the soul lives that we are, that is limiting us from being who we truly are. And so the cleanup that comes about along the ancestral lines and the genetics and the family history is really simply bringing our awareness to these aspects of ourself. Do you want to add anything to that? Because I've got a slogan here, genes, Gene, and I liken it to, teenagers when we're kind of insecure would say, do these jeans make my butt look fat? Well, now I say, do these genes, Genes, make my butt look fat? And I say that all the time now. When I see myself reacting or responding or living in genetics of ancestors, I know it's not me, but I can look and say, wow, it's something from the genetic line, especially when I have a sister who we didn't grow up together, but we're friends and sisters now. And we react in the same way. We get flustered in the same way. So that's part of the cleanup that we have to do. Would you speak a little bit about the ease of this? So when we bring awareness to this, how much of the work is that awareness in the consciousness?
Well, I'd say it's probably the majority of the work. I love what you said, by the way, and I love your work, Loren. And I also love what you said about having kind of a sense of humor or lightness about it. I think that can help a lot also in the healing process if one can do it. But unconsciousness is I don't know, I'm not aware. Conscious or awakened is I know and I can understand. And I can see things, work through things, solve kind of these different puzzles of life, heal, do the cleanup, like you said, and get free from a lot of the pain of the past. So and it's interesting to see this develop as we understand all these complexities. We talked about consciousness, we talked about soul, we talked about genetics, ancestral and generational lines. As we understand these things, it makes us more broad-based, but at the same time, that awareness allows us to say, hey, there are some things that need to be healed, cut or disconnected, healed from these things, because there is some baggage that can come with it. So, Loren, you and I have talked before about timelines work. And so I work in people's timelines and help them to kind of get free of the pain of the past, get centered and be empowered now, and open up new times to move forward into new ideas of themselves. Is these understandings of all these complexities can sometimes cause some challenges or cause some problems. So it's very important for us as we become aware of these things to see what energies, good, helpful, empowering energies, can be pulled forward into our current lives or our current timelines, And then what old energies and connections and old timelines can be cleaned and cleared, closed and collapsed, so that we're kind of using our assets wisely, yet taking away the things that hold us down from being the best that we can be.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lori, any questions or comments based on the presentation so far?
I think it's really, I think it's exciting, and I think it's very focused the way you presented it. So it will help people understand the concepts that you're presenting, whereas opposed sometimes it can be overwhelming to consider ourselves when we think about who we really are, and we're discovering these aspects of ourselves that, you get to a certain point. And I think part of it's the energy of the planet that's coming in. I think part of it's the consciousness that's awakening as well in each individual person, that brings you to a focal point where you can say, I want to know more about who I really am. I want to break out of the paradigm of being pushed down, as you say, or feel small or insignificant. And I think the way you broke it down is really, really great. It's like a class in itself. So thank you for that.
For sure. And thanks for your comment and thank you for your work. Bring up a very good point is we're understanding us. So I talked a lot about us, the human, and all those kind of complexities. Yet, as you
Right.
said, Lori, there are external impacts on us. So there is Earth awakening impact. There are elementals. There are the whales, the dolphins. There's many, all parts of nature are all in the awakening process too. So as
Absolutely.
all of these external structures impact us and our personal understandings, it can be a lot to handle. That's why some people have spiritual awakening kind of, they have flashpoints they go through or troubled times they go through. Sometimes they have symptoms of the spiritual journey or awakening symptoms, because sometimes it can be a lot for the body to be able to handle. But in the complexity of all, it really is all of those understandings that help us all rise and ascend.
Yeah. Very good. Really important.
Awesome. Well, thank you so far. We are looking forward to Metatron. So do you want to share any comments before we bring Metatron through?
For sure. So I'm a channel for Metatron, and in the way that I work with Metatron, Metatron is a high dimensional being specialized in spiritual development. And I work with him in a way where he is kind of a very high dimensional being, and he drops down and does a number of things. So kind of like, you all may have different business cards, or you have different jobs you have in your life. Metatron is that same way. He says many times, don't limit me. I do a lot of things. So some people know him as an archangel, and he can work as that. And so he is an archangel in that way. But I work with him in a high dimensional way. So he kind of speaks from a perspective of the all, and sometimes speaks understanding the thinker that thinks. So he speaks in high ways and can help demystify and help people understand a lot of high knowledge. And he has a lot of personality, and you all feel free to interact with him as you would like, okay? All right, I'll bring him in now. And we are here, we are Metatron, and we thank you and we grace you with many things. Grace is allowing. And as we create this space of allowing, we allow you to be. Now, this is one of our teachings, and one of our understandings for today is grace is allow. Grace is allowing yourself and others to be. In the concept of self-empowerment, which you all talk about today, it is this: let me be. And as Addison, the man before you who spoke these words, but yet doesn't speak these words because he is a channel, which means he allows information, energies, and frequencies and vibrations and others to come through, said earlier, people are becoming more self-empowered. And what is needed right now in the teaching that we would like to share with you is allow. So if you're taking notes at home, and we encourage you to, is allow. Now, some of you may say, well, I do that. What we encourage you to do, and we poke you just a little bit because that's what Metatron does, we kind of push people along. We are a big energy. We do a lot of things. Don't limit us. As we say to you all, we don't limit you. In fact, we help you move from limited understandings into unlimitedness. That is the movement of the human. Knowing more, understanding more, and growing. It is ascension, it is transition, it is transmission. Going from low gears into high gears so you can really go. And if you've looked around the world today, you may say, well, it seems like everything is moving pretty fast. It is. Things are moving very fast because you are going very quickly from low gears into high gears. And we, Metatron on High, drop in and help you to move. And in a way of understanding what ascension is, growth and development is, it is movement. Everything is always in movement. And so as the human understands itself, if you are in a place of not allowing, of stringency, of limiting yourself or others in your life, what we say to you is, please allow. Allow yourself and allow others. For in the open space of allowing, it is a playground. Just as children or dogs or whales, if you wish, if they're in open water or open ground, they frolic, they free, they play. They move in ways that they would not move if they were in a cage. If they were locked in not allowing, if they were locked in limitation, they go in a circle. They sit down, they sleep, they cry maybe. They don't have the ability to do what they would like to do, to be in free space, in the allowance. So a key message of us today to all of you who watch this is allow. A-L-L-O-W. Spend time with this. Ask yourself, because this is a teaching, which means a teaching is an idea that you turn. Idea, turn, 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 turn. If we just said allow, without allowing the idea to be specified and exonified into higher things, then you may not understand it. So as we talk about allow, ask yourself, do I allow? Do I allow myself? Lori earlier talked about loving oneself, which is very good. But we would add to that, allow. Do I allow myself to be all that I want to be, or do I lock myself through blockages, barricades, and prisons to be in limitation and not to be? For if you are blocking yourself and not allowing yourself, you are your own worst enemy. And we, Metatron on High, work many times to help people understand themselves. What am I doing wrong? We're not psychologists, but we are professors in a way. Metatron is structural. We understand the structure of the all, and we understand the structure of the human. And so as we understand structure, we teach it to you so that you can understand, and then work within the structure, and then move into higher structure, which is the movement of life. So as you understand allowing yourself to be in the fullness of you, you can play. You can experience life in new ways. As you work with other people, which basically means interact with them, friends, lovers, husbands, teachers, brothers, whatever it may be, allow them to be. So ask yourself, am I creating a space for allowing or a space of allowing for others in my life? Or do I limit them? Do I see them in ways that don't allow? Allowing is freedom. Take the handcuffs off and be free. It is a playground that you create. It is an open water that you create that allows those in your life to be. So in the house that you live in the work that you work in, no matter what it may be, are you in a space of openness, broad-mindedness, and allowing to be? For if you are allowing, and you are allowing others, and you are in a physical place of allowing, you are in a place that we would call happening. And we talk about happening for a minute. Happening are those events that happen within allowing. Happening. Now, we talk about structure again, because that is one of the things that we do here on Earth, helping people to understand structure, helping you to understand structure, is happening or happenings are the events in order and sequence of life. Happenings are the events in order and sequence of life. Now, what we encourage you all to do in the space of allowing is then say, watch the happenings. Watch the happenings. And some of you may say, well, this seems very simple. Well, do you do it? And a teaching is meant to allow someone to change. Teaching, knowing new things allows one to change. So happenings are the things that happen in order and sequence in life. So what we encourage you to do in the space of allowing, and this can be empowering to you, is watch life. Participate in life for what the human does, and please allow yourself to watch yourself in this way. Do you watch the events of life with eagerness and appreciation? Do you participate in life with eagerness and anticipation of what can be? Or do you idly sit by and go, well, look, there it is? And do you not appreciate the happenings in order and sequence in life? For if you are in allowance, again, allowance of yourself, allowance of others, and create a space of allowing, and then you are participatory and actuatory and enjoying, appreciating the events, the happenings in order and sequence in life, then you're allowing and you're living. And so part of self-empowerment is participation. Now, please listen to this. And this is a point 3, if you want to call it that, on our 3-point scale here, is participation is key. Are you an active participant in life? Life is a happening. Life is allowance. In the self-empowerment of you, if you are not engaged in it, if you are not alive in it, if you are not functioning in a way that helps and lifts it, if you are called to lift it, then you are not really living. Live life, please. Self-empowerment, if this message resonates with you, if you like the idea of being empowered, moving in new and higher ways, ascending, lifting, teaching, and becoming more than what you're not, or more than what you think you are, or more than what you'd like to be, if you're not trying to be more, then you're not really living. For living in a way is achieving. And many of you say, well, I'm in the flow of life. And that's wonderful. The flow of life is always more. The flow of life is always achieving. The flow of life is always overcoming. The flow of life is always empowering. But the way to really engage in empowerment is to participate actively and soulfully and heartfully and mindfully and multidimensionally so that you are engaging in the give and take, the participatory action of life. Self-empowerment is not, I don't care, I am apathetic, I don't do it, I kick the rocks in the backyard because I'm mad. It is, I heal, I do what I need to do, I have a mentor, I go see a specialist or an expert, I work, I grow, I rise. Life, believe it or not, at a level in an understanding is engagement, which is work, and in a way of understanding what energy is. And you live in a universe of energy. You live in an energetic universe. Energy is. Energy equals work. And some of you say, well, that doesn't make sense. Look it up. If you look up a simple definition for energy, what is a simple definition for energy? It is work, stuff that works. We are Metatron. We are teachers. We are academics. We are professors. We are structural engineers. We are here to help you understand things so that you can be empowered through your know, your knowledge, your gumption to change. For ascension, and we care about ascension, upward direction, we get better. It's a simple way to understand ascension. You get better. If you take off in an airplane, you take off from the ground. Many of you have flown in an airplane. The airplane takes off and it ascends. It goes higher and higher and higher. And as the airplane ascends, the scene changes. What you see changes and what sees you change. Ascension, change, change, change. The scene changes and what sees you changes. In the understanding of empowerment, you must change. An empowered person drives change, both in themselves, in others, and in the world around them. Yet you are keeping and creating, allowing spaces for that to happen, but through your own change, you elicit change and you help change in others. Now, we take questions from either of you, should you have any. Please ask.
Curious how Metatron's voice came to you, how the channeling occurred, and I think other people are too, because channeling is becoming more to the forefront in our society, and it's obviously a wonderful connection that you have. So curious
Yeah.
about that.
Well, we are at Metatron speaking now. So what we will do is we will tell you how we came to Addison. We think that's who you're really asking the question. But
Right.
we came to him as one of his guides and dropped in and began to teach him on a regular basis how to channel. So we worked with him for a number of years to get him to the place where he is today. So he went through channeling school driven by us. Then we led him to work with masters in the human realm, 3 to be exact, who were teachers and speakers and channels, so that he could work with humans to help verify and understand the channel and help to hone his skill, help him to be better. So as we see channeling being a broad-based movement in the earth today, we see this happening. And what we would say is, if you are called to channel, please work with experts in the field. Please work with humans who can help you hone your skills and make sure you're connected to the right thing and make sure you're doing the right thing. Protocols are key. It is important to connect with energies and voices that are in and of the light, or in and of the highest light, if you wish. And as you do this, you can learn great things. Channeling is a movement. We like it, but we encourage people work with people who are experts in the field so that you can hone your skills and get the tutelage that you need. For Addison, that is the way he worked. That is the path he has been on. And so we have been working with him for a number of years now, and he's gotten to this place where we would call him a professional. He does this for a living. He is very good at it. He talks to us all the time. We work with him all the time. But channeling is important. Now, we will say this, there's a lot of voices out there. There are many channels saying a lot of different things. So as an empowering message, and an empowering message to Lori, you, Loren, and all out there, is when you hear channels, or when you hear any teaching for that matter, remember, don't give it away. Don't give all of your belief, all of your ideas of what is away. Allow yourself to listen to all the teachings, yes, even us, listen to everything and say, I decide. I listen to all these voices, I listen to all these informations, and then I say, well, this is what resonates with me. This is what my guides say. This is what my heart, my soul, my mind says. And I take all of these ideas together and I put them in a central space and I allow me to understand and decide. So there are a lot of teachings out there, mainly because the spiritual movement is growing. Now, Lori, may we continue and talk a little bit more about some things?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you wish to ask Addison at the end of our talk, you can ask him about his own personal experience, and that would be great. We encourage you to if you're led to, because he'll have his own story to tell in that way. But as the spiritual awakening, which is happening on the world today, really begins to exacerbate, which means push itself forward, what we are seeing is there are a lot of different teachings out there. And the reason why is because humanity is moving into a space of broadness, broad-mindedness, and trying to understand the multifacetedness, the multitudinous of life. So there are a lot of teachings because there are a lot of perceptions and a lot of perspectives and a lot of understandings of what is. And this is the gift of the spiritual movement is, it is, it is, it is, it is, it is. There are a lot of truths out there, if you want to look at it that way. The only truth that really should matter to you is your truth. But this is my truth. This is what I see. This is what I hold true. This is my value system. This is what I have decided. This is what resonates with me. This is what I'm doing. This is what my soul journey is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So even with what we say, don't take it to the bank, but take it to your own self and say, what do I think? I like what he says about this. I don't know about that. I love this. I don't like that. I change the channel. I do what I wish, because you choose. If we said, this is the way it is, believe it or die, well, that is a dogma, and that doesn't work anymore. Does that make sense to you? So what is happening is you have lots of ideas that are coming in that all present to the human, and the human says, I see. I see all these things. And these are all different perspectives, different tells, different ways to turn the diamond and say, look at all the facetedness of life. Yet in the beauty of the human, the inspiration of the human, it is up to you to decide. And that's why really the theme of today's message is self-empowerment, which is really I decide. And many of you know the term sovereignty, 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 which is a word we'll paint on the walls. It is an important teaching for the human. and humanity right now. So if you're taking notes at home, again, please do and write this down. I am a sovereign being. I am sovereign and I am sovereignty. And in sovereignty, you don't accept what others push on you, yet you see them all presented to you as an offering and you decide. I take all this information in, if I wish, if I'd like, if I'm willing, and then I say I do this, I do that, I do the other, I decide. So in the sovereignty, you say I am a sovereign being, which is I choose, I decide, I see all these things, and then it's up to me to see what I do. Don't choose for me, I choose for myself. So as the spiritual journey, which many of you are on, probably all of you are on at a level, continues to expand, which it is spirituality becomes more complex and more multifaceted. Because as we see the spiritual journey, it is understanding the complexity of life. You are all seekers. You seek and you find. You look for information and you get it. And then you keep looking, you're seekers and finders. It's like you're on a big scavenger hunt, trying to understand life. Really, that's what the spiritual journey is. How do I work and how does existence work? That really is what it is. It's not existential, it is a knowledge journey. A spiritual journey, yes, but a knowledge journey, because your generalized know, which is your soul, your heart, your mind, and all your parts and pieces come together and says, I know, I understand this. And the way you understand and the way you know shapes your worldview and your self-view. If you are in a very highly limited and unself-empowered form, you are probably locked in the crusty of the old ideas of you and everyone. So as the spiritual journey, which is becoming more complex and more wide, you hear a lot of stories out there, you hear a lot of things, listen to them all if you want, but then to say, I decide, I choose. That is your worldview. Yet we encourage you, be respectful of all. Be respectful of all the storytellers, the seers, the channels, and all. Appreciate them if you'd like, for there are many voices in the world. There are many voices in the universe. And as all these voices speak, teach, tell, give hope to the universe, none of them are unimportant. None of them are unimportant. They're all part of the all. They're all part of the vast thinker that thinks and the storytell of all. It is the beauty of the design of all. Other questions from you both? Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Well,
This activation, I'm feeling activated. Go ahead, Lori.
just wanted to comment on, in my personal channeling and over the years, an exploration of consciousness, the energy or the name Metatron has come to me first through the sacred geometric form that's known as Metatron's wheel. And further, the cosmic consciousness has come forward as described to me as you might say, a cosmic archangel. And then there's the consciousness of the galactic archangels, which would be the Elohim, like Archangel Michael and Uriel and Ariel and Raphael. And the messages, the information, the sentience that they share are a bit different in the sense of the complexity and the understanding of multidimensionality. Would you comment on that?
I would love to, yes. And beautiful comment, Lori. And Lori, we thank you for your comment because it is a beautiful illustration of the multidimensionality, which is the multi-storytelling or multi-aspect of all. So a way to understand multidimensionality is we have many different perspectives. So as we, Metatron, who works on the consciousness level, the thinker that thinks, the galactic consciousness level, the earth consciousness level, the human consciousness level, we work in the way that you hear the voice now, but we do a lot of things besides this guy here. But in the way that we work through him, we are working at a human consciousness level because that way you all can understand, learn, and grow. That is teaching that comes through a channel. So we bring lots of different levels or dimensionality or facetedness of the all in a story that we tell. We work with this guy in a way which is a consolidated learning. So we have a teaching that we activate through him and teach through him, as many channels do, but it is not our full story. We are many things, don't limit us. So as you, Lori, connect with the different levels of the archangels, Elohim, seraphim, whatever it may be, is they all have a kind of a job to do. And in that jobness, that jobhood, they say these are our lines. These are our messages. Here's what we do. Here's what we communicate to you. So, and we say this many times, you who are on a spiritual journey, be broad-minded. Again, write this down. If you wish, if you'd like, if you are willing, in the respect of your sovereignty, do only what you wish. But there are lots of different perspectives out there. So you who are on a spiritual journey, be broad-minded, which means you hear things and you go, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. Non-judgmental, as one of you said before, but saying, I see, I see, I see. Because really none of the voices are wrong. Now, some of them may not be of the highest light, and those voices you may not want to listen to, but it's up to you. But there are a lot of things out there, and they're all singing their song. They're all sharing their story. And it's up to you if you want to sing along or do something different or change the channel. So there's a lot of truth out there, but they're all shown or told from a certain perspective. And as you all humans begin to understand the all, you're opening it up to all these new ideas. So an encouragement is be broad-minded, yet use your own discern, which means apply your soul, spirit, and song and decide what you want to do, listen or not sing along, and then go from there. Does that answer your question, Lori?
Very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Any other questions from you both?
Oh, yes. I would love to ask a question based on your response there. I wanted to just say that the word allow from this perspective is very empowering. It really allows people to be who they are and allow us to be who we are. Again, it's sinking in, and that is the activation that we're feeling. Now, when there's something going on in the environment, and we don't like the environment, what's happening to the environment, for example, how does our allowance kick into gear of us being active in change? You said an empowered person drives change. So I'm thinking, what can we do if we don't like? How do we balance the allowance of allowing structures to be, things to be, but when the environment, for example, or other issues wear heavy on our hearts? Can you answer, or can you talk more about the allowance in seemingly chaos?
Yes, for sure. Well, there are many different answers that we can give you, but we will give, because it is a complex question, and we honor the question. Thank you, Loren. The answer that we would give you is a little bit like Lori said earlier, love. So a way to see love in a way is allowing. I love you, therefore I allow you to be. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So if there are people out there that are impacting the environment or other people that are not kind, in a way, loving them, which means allowing the situation to play, is an important thing. Now, we'll explain this to you. Is not everyone has the calling to be active in helping change to happen in a specific realm. So if there are things that are out of your control to affect in a positive way directly, then we encourage you literally to stay out of it. If there are things that weigh heavy on your heart, yet you are not in a place where you are affecting them directly in a way to help them, and yes, you can pray for them, you can talk to your guides about them, you can lift them up and all these kinds of things, and that's great. But what we encourage you to do is stay out of things that weigh heavy on your heart, because a heavy mind, a heavy soul, a person that is weighed down with things they can't control, it doesn't help themselves, the world around you, or the all. So affect the change that you can affect, and the things that you can't, hands off. And allow yourself, unless you are working with them in a spiritual realm, in the prayer realm, or with the guidance of your guides, unless you're doing that, stay out of it. And we say that lovingly, because otherwise you're just tying your energy up in things that you cannot affect change in. So allow yourself to say, I will utilize my energies in different ways. I will focus my energies on the things that I can actually have a direct impact on. Otherwise, I look and focus on myself. What is my soul path? What do I need to do? Listen, we need lifters. And many of you out there, we know you both are lifters. Lift, lift, lift. If the lifter is wounded and weighed down, it is unable to lift. The focus is on you. And we say this many times. You know the old adage, when the airplane goes down, the first thing you do is you put the oxygen mask on yourself. You take care of yourself. And then you put it on the child and everyone else around you. So as you focus on yourself and then do what you are called to do in specific form and measure to change the world around you, you change the world around you. It is prioritization. You all are huge beings. We've talked about this a lot today. Huge, complex beings, yet you are in human form, which provides a lot of limitation. The human is in limited form. You can only do so many things in a day. You can only do so much. Many of you even say that. Well, I can only do so much. So after that, you must say, hands off and let me reutilize my energies in ways which really serve my path and my calling. Loren, does this answer your question?
Yes, and it's very comforting and it's empowering, actually. And I can feel a release and an upliftment from it. Hands off. Yes.
And a key part, and this will help kind of supply a part B answer to your question, which is beautiful, is there is a design to the all. Have you all noticed that? There is a design to the all?
Yes.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yes, there is a design. There is a grand design to it all. You can call it divine, you can call it the thinker that thinks, you can call it God, whatever you want to call it. There is a grand design to all. And in that grand design to all, you, Loren or Lori, are not expected to do it all. You do your part. You play your role. You do your thing. You do it well. So even in those things where those areas, those themes where you may not be able to affect change, worry not, because believe it or not, there is a grand design where people are empowered to do their part in those things. So it may not be your thing, but for somebody else, it is their thing. It may be their way to help, it may be their way to lift, it may be their soul call, but they will be involved. So in a way, everything is taken care of, and believe it or not, and we tell you this from a high perspective, humanity is moving higher, 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 getting better, 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 getting nicer and kinder and higher, lighter and all these things. So even though you see skirmishes breaking around here and there and in between, do not be heavy-hearted. Do not be heavy-hearted. Do not be heavy-hearted. The overall movement of all is higher and better and lighter. It is. So allow yourself to say, look, there it is. I acknowledge the war. I acknowledge the fight. I see it. If it's not my battle to fight, I let it alone because I know it will be taken care of. Things are moving in that way. The heavy-hearted ones are the unhappy ones. The happy ones and the light-hearted ones are the higher ones that can help lift. So if you feel weighed down, you feel burdened down, please don't be. Let others fight those fights. Allow yourself to be in the highest and truest way that you can. Does that help, Loren?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So I've got one last question based on higher self and our guides. Can you please speak to the connection between our higher self and our guides and how they are related? Are our guides also our higher self? Should we listen to all of them? That's a big one, but speak to that, please.
For sure. So, again, we talk about the complexity of the human. We talk about the complexity of the human. We say it again because we like the sound of it. We want to make sure all of you listening hear this and know this. The complexity of the human. So in the complexity of something, there's a lot of different mechanisms and movements going on. So to give you one simple answer to your question, Loren, is not a one-size-fits-all answer. In fact, the spiritual journey to empower you and help you and demystify a few things for you is not a one-size-fits-all journey. And you may have noticed that. I do this, I do that, I do the other. I go to Mount Shasta, I go to Sedona, wherever it may be. It just depends. You have your spiritual lineage. You have your spiritual calling. But it is not a one-size-fits-all thing. So in the way that people work with the complexity of them, which can include higher self, guides, soul family, angels, archangels, seraphim, cherubim, all kinds of things, whatever it may be, whatever you got going on, it is unique to you. So the hierarchy and the way that they play with you, the way they interact and guide you is probably different, and we're sure it is different person by person. So we encourage you, talk to yourself. Talk to your soul. We will not define it for you, but we will say many times people's soul is their best guide. And the higher self can be the soul because in a way your soul is your higher self that drops in and lives a life, a soul destination, a soul journey in the name of you. Beautiful way to see it. You have complexity to call on. Now, we give you an idea of a personal computer, and all of you, we're pretty sure, have personal computers. There's a lot of complexity. Access software of it, the activation of it that you need, that you can utilize. Yet there's a lot of complexity in there. So just like you learn how to use a computer, you know how it works, you know what works for you, you use the software. Maybe new software comes in, you have an update, and you update your software, and you're like, oh yes, it has some new features and benefits. This is great, I can utilize it, I learn how to use it. It's the same way you are. You're a complex computer, you're a complex thing, you're many things. So work with yourself, with your soul, and with your guides, and really say, what is the interface here that I need to understand? And be very focused. Self-empowerment means I know and I do. It doesn't mean I give my choice away, it means I choose. And so in the awareness and the awakenedness of choosing, you understand and you know and you make high choices. And this, in a way, is the beautiful opportunity for the human. It is to say, I awake, I know, I engage, and I choose. We're a Metatron. We're very activating and activated because the beauty of the human is you have power, you have authority, you have empowerment. This is all about empowerment, which means I choose, I engage, I know how this thing works, I know how this thing works, and I engage with it in the highest and best ways that I can, that I'm called to, and that I do. So talk to your team, your soul, your guides, talk to yourself, see what feels right, what knows right, and is right for you. What are the opportunities in this complexity I have to get guidance, to know the best path forward? What are the utilization factors that I need to get here? Guides, talk to me so that I can know the best way to use all of you. My intention, and listen to this, my intention is to use my guides, my soul, my heart complex in the best ways possible. Team, help me to do this. And when you actively engage in this new and high way, you have an updated computer system. You have an updated heads-up display. And you can look and say, okay, I got information, I understand this is great, and I'm going my way, and it is the best way that I can because I worked on it. Listen to this. The human life, again, is energy. You are all energy. You live in a universe of energy. Energy equals work. It is the definition of energy. Look it up. What is a simple definition for energy? Work, stuff that works, a system that works. That's energy. Energy is work. You all are energy. You all are work. Life in the empowerment sense is I work and I choose in the highest ways possible. I know and I understand. The engagement of the human in the awakening race, if you will, because it is a race and it's a movement forward, it's ascension, it moves fast and it moves high, is I understand the heads-up display and I utilize it in expert ways. We talk about love a lot, and Loren, we've talked on your show about love before, is that the human is only now just understanding love. We encourage you all to be experts in love. Love is something that you all don't understand. You're beginning to understand, you're working on it, and you are utilizing it in ways that you can. But if you look around the world today, the human does not understand love. We think you all probably would agree. So allow yourself to become an expert in love, which means I work on it, I master it. Those who have lived a life of unmastery are not engaged in the process. You're not engaged in the learning process, and you're not utilizing those things in everyday fashion. That's what an expert does. An expert has worked years on something, engaged in it. It's had clinical, it's had tutelage, it's had practicum, and it has utilized it in many different ways over years. And in that experience of time and order and sequence and all these kinds of things, downloads and knowing and intuition and heart and your big beings living in small bodies, openness, 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 you become an expert. It happens over the order and sequence of events. You could say over time. And so we encourage you, utilize all the opportunities you have before you to become experts in love. And this is the last thing that we'll say to you, and we'll leave here in a few moments unless you have other questions for us, is please become experts in you. Care about yourself. Love yourself. Love your life instance. Love every moment of your life instance. It is a gift. It is a miracle. It is a miracle of life and design. There is, and we demystify this for you, a grand design to all. Everything is designed. We talked about sacred geometry earlier, Lori. We understand sacred geometry. It is a way to understand structure and design. Everything is beautifully, 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 intricately designed, from you to your soul, to your emotions, to everything high and low and in between. You live in an existence of design. So if you appreciate fine design, you probably appreciate yourself and the all. You are art. You all are connected art. You are geometric forms all connecting all the time. You live in a connected place and space. It is intricately designed. Trust yourself and know that you are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful art. Any other questions for us?
Oh, thank you so much, Metatron. No more questions. We so appreciate and honor the time that you shared with us today. All of our higher selves are in deep gratitude and deeply connected as well to ourselves, and we're feeling that activation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorraine. Lori, go ahead.
No, I'm just thanking you because I've enjoyed it so much. So
Wonderful.
we appreciate your teaching.
Thank you. We appreciate you both. We will end on these words. Self-empowerment means I do and I engage. And you've gotten many different definitions and a lot of value today in understanding what self-empowerment is. Self-empowerment means I have the keys to the car. If someone empowers you to drive a brand new car, let's say a Lamborghini, something high design, a lot of fun to drive, and you have the power, you've got the key, you've got the fob, you've got whatever you need to drive the thing in your hand, yet you never drive the car. You have the empowerment to drive it, yet you do not engage. You get in the car and you don't try it out and you don't live the life. You don't step on the pedal, you don't go. Well, you may be empowered with the key, but you never experience empowerment because you don't drive the car. So many of you work with guides and healers and all these kinds of things, and they're helping to empower you. Take those energies, take those songs, take those teachings, please, and go. Drive the car, experience life. That is empowerment. An empowered person with the key to a car never drives really isn't empowered. And we leave you with this message and say, drive, 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 and enjoy the drive. And we thank you.
Mm.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Metatron. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Addison.
Wow.
My pleasure and my joy. I hope you all enjoyed Metatron's messages.
Yes, we encourage those to watch it again, listen again. It was filled with wonderful sayings, phrases, and education. Actually, I wrote many things down, and it's so beautiful. Very, very good. We are all experts in love now. Thank you. Or we are on task to be in love.
Thank you for sharing this wonderful gift. And it so beautifully flows through you. It's just wondrous to behold.
Well, thank you. I'm honored by that. And I thank Metatron again. And I thank you all for hosting and allowing both Metatron and I to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. And so here we have a new year coming upon us, an 8-year. It's abundance and mastery on a whole new level. And you've got a special offer. And that's going to be a master class where people can join you online and Metatron. Tell us about this master class.
Yes, Lauren. Lauren, thank you. So it is a master class on you. And in a way, it's a self-empowerment master class where I will talk a little bit about you, the complexity and the empowerment that one can have, and then channel Metatron to those in attendance, both live and in the replay, about how they can really step into the fullness and the empowerment of themselves, their multidimensional selves. And the live masterclass is on January the 3rd, 2024. Can you believe it? And at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then it'll be available for replay on your Neo network afterwards.
Yes, it's all recorded. So those who can't join live have the way to join that very sacred vessel and be in the energy of Metatron through the recording. We appreciate that, Addison. Thank you so much. You always do wonderful events, and they're so high vibe that it really resonates with our hearts and it empowers us. So thank you. All right, Lori, any other questions or comments?
Was delighted to know Addison and get to experience his beautiful gift. And Metatron has always been, in these recent years, special to me in my communications, and just the great love, seriously, and the complexity of the way the universe functions and how Metatron can make it usable, can make it personal, can make it a part of your daily life. I very much appreciate all of that and more, everything that he came through for you. And I just am delighted that you're a part of this summit. And I know many people will benefit from your teaching. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And Metatron's encouraging me to, did you ask Metatron about how I channel? I don't always remember everything from the channel. He'd like for me to just to share with you that, it's been a very hard path of learning how to channel. I went through very intricate and complex channeling seminars with Metatron. And so it's been a real amazing journey, but I went through a lot of hard classes to learn how to channel. And but it's been an amazing journey. And so he just wanted me to add that because I think you asked about that earlier. So may that be of service.
And I just want to add as well that Addison, the boldness, the bravery, it's like you, Lori, there's a bravery that's required here, a courageousness that's required. And actually stepping into your sovereignty and not being defined, not allowing yourself to bring it forward, because Addison, you were in pretty much a corporate world, marketing and all of this. And so you had to basically say goodbye to that life and close the door on it. And friendships and things, did people look at you strange? Did they get over it? Or did you just have to walk away from that?
Yeah, it was it's an amazing journey. So I had maybe like three groups of people in my life, both friends, family, and colleagues, work colleagues. Some really disowned me and didn't want to have anything to do with me. Some were kind of like, well, we still like you, but we don't want to talk about that stuff with you. So keep it segregated, keep it, off to the side. And then some people were like supportive and interested. And then some people were really engaged and loved the work and think it's amazing. So it was an amazing journey of change there for sure. And, I still work in the business world. I don't know if you know that or not, Lauren. I still do what I call business consulting and executive coaching in awakened ways. So I work with forward-thinking business leaders to help them grow their businesses with respect to corporate governance, the environment, respecting people, and working in very clean and high-value ways. There's a huge movement now in the business world where more and more companies are really open-minded. They're spiritually driven, young entrepreneurs who are very open-minded, loving people, trying to do the right thing. And so I work with some of those kinds of people, and it's really wonderful for me to see. I didn't expect to see it, but businesses that are investing in very environmentally friendly products and services, and really trying to change the world. So now I do everything from channeling, which of course is very spiritual, all the way to life guidance, which is kind of like spiritual life coaching. I do executive coaching and success coaching, helping people to ideate themselves anew, all the way to working with enlightened and forward-thinking businesses. So I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But the movement to channeling was a life-changing experience for sure.
Mm.
Well, thank you for bringing so much light to the world and everything. It's inspiring for all of us. It's showing us a roadmap and giving us courage as well, and
Right.
helping us trust our own abilities and our own skills. And it's so beautiful because you are part of a shift. We are all, everyone watching is part of this greater shift that's happening on the planet. And I'm going to cry here when I say this because it comes from the heart. We cannot give up or think that we don't make a difference.
Right.
Each one of us do in each of our own very special ways. So we encourage everyone to really step into it and stand in empowerment. I want to thank you both for being here. And Lori, if you have any final thoughts, please.
I just want to thank you for that last piece where you showed us you're blending the worlds, the corporate world with the spiritual world. Boy, that's just so important because the bridge has to be built to create the new earth, to create the new energies, and for us to come deeper into the ascension understandings and pathways. So important that the companies go green now and that we clean up the earth. And thank you for sharing that because that's important too. And it takes courage, as Loren said, to go into this higher realm, to channel this amazing being Metatron, and then to step into the 3D world and say, come on, you can do better, you
Yeah.
can do better. And anyway,
Yeah.
I'm really glad you shared that piece. Thank
Well, thank you for saying that. And, it's a key part, a very key part of my role as Addison to blend those worlds.
you. I
So,
see that.
and I'm very passionate about it. And so, I encourage viewers, if you are so led, really think about the businesses that you support, where your dollars go. There's a real movement towards ESG companies, and that E stands for environmental focus. You care about the environment. Social, which are companies that care about their impact on society. And then G, governance, how they manage their business, how they present themselves in the world, how they treat their people. Do they treat their people with respect? So, this is some interesting information that you may find helpful as you decide what businesses you support. But look for companies that are ESG companies. Also look for companies that are B Corp companies, B Corp. And those are companies that have gone through a certification process, which means they behave in good ways. They're good to their people, good to the environment. And so, we live in a very complex world, and I really think businesses are going through a major shift right now. And so we can either not be aware of that kind of thing and not support the good companies, or we can kind of be aware and we can vote with our dollars. So we're really all in this together. So the more that we can
As
support,
humans,
yeah,
as
right,
humans, we need to expect more. We need to expect more. Like you said, we vote with our dollars, and we need to put those dollars where we're seeing real change happen, and
yeah,
the companies being responsible, as you said, with their energy and their dollars. So again, so important. Thank you. Thank you.
for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Addison Ames. What a beautiful channel of Metatron you are. You have empowered us all. And Lori and I thank you from our hearts. And we thank all of you lovely lights out there who've enjoyed this session. Thank you for joining us. We're going to bid you all a very farewell and namaste. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Namaste. Thank you.